Welcome, Tom.
Welcome, Brian.
Welcome, Tom, to another Laughing Gas experimentation. Today we're talking about crushed dreams.
All gone.
All dead.
All my dreams are cast asunder.
Yeah, don't you mean ripped asunder?
No.
You mean cast away? When I was a child, I had a burning ambition to be a jazz trumpeter. I practiced day and night. By the time I left school, my parents told me I had a real talent and that I should believe in myself. With their encouragement, I knew I could conquer the world of jazz. So, I knocked on the door of my local jazz club in the early hours of Saturday morning. I was greeted by a large black man who aggressively demanded what I wanted. I told him I had a dream to be a great jazz trumpeter. He laughed and opened the door. That was the last thing I remembered before waking up in Bangkok, in a brothel, dressed as a nurse.
After graduating from Oxford with a PhD in rocket science, it was time for me to emerge into the big wide world. I started having telephone interviews, but each time the interviewer suddenly hung up for no reason. I tried Zoom interviews, but just as it was getting good, I got a message suddenly saying I'd been disconnected. Finally, I found a job in the newspaper. They were asking for an expert on thermodynamics. So, I went to the interview. It turned out to be a job flipping burgers. However, I stuck at it and I was determined to succeed. After several days slaving away in a scorching kitchen, my manager suddenly appeared and said I had the wrong attitude and I was sacked on the spot.
My citizenship teacher inspired in me a burning desire for social justice. All I wanted to do was change the world for the better. So, I joined Extinction Rebellion to save the planet. My first action was to chain myself to a police dog. I did so, but he mauled me so badly I needed total facial reconstruction. Whilst in hospital, my comrades mistakenly informed the authorities I identified as a woman, and so the doctors castrated me in my sleep.
All my ambition had gone. So I went to the job centre to see what I could do. They offered me a job which they said was set in nice offices with lots of potential for progress in employment. However, it was unpaid volunteer work for 2 years, but they said I would be surrounded by opportunity. I was told to come back next week. So, the following week I came back and they immediately sent me to work in the job centre toilets. I contracted diphtheria. I was in the hospital for 6 months. When I came back, I was sacked.
I was a huge fan of Evel Knievel when I was a boy. All I wanted to do was drive motorbikes off ramps and over assembled buses. When I was 17, my father bought me a motorbike so I could realise my ambition. I took it out on the road, beaming with pride. As I came to the junction at the top of the road, I saw a bus coming up the hill. I thought, here's my chance. I backed the bike up 100 yards and waited for the bus. When I saw its front emerge, I pulled on the accelerator and went from 0 to 60 in 2 seconds flat. I hit the side of the bus, fracturing my skull in 4 places. I was taken to hospital. Unfortunately, some prankster informed the authorities I identified as a woman, and so the hospitals amputated my gonads in my sleep.
I always wanted to be an architect. One day, as I was studying various forms of brickwork, I wandered down a dark alleyway. I was then set upon by a gang of thugs and bundled into a sack. I spent the next 6 months being passed around as a rent boy across the globe as I was forced to perform depraved acts for pennies. Eventually, I was beaten up by a huge bricklayer and left for dead.
My main ambition as a child was to be a paratrooper. I wanted to jump from planes and win battles. My teacher told me that I had to follow my bliss, believe in myself, and never ever give up. I took this as a sign that I should start practicing parachute jumps straight away. I went home and made a parachute from my bedsheet. I then jumped out of my bedroom window. Upon hitting the ground, I broke one leg, fractured my sternum, and slipped 5 discs. I was rushed to hospital. For some reason, the doctors thought I had gender dysphoria. It gave me an absolutely enormous pair of fake breasts in my sleep.